Hello, sweet friend. My name is Maike, and in this video, I would like to journal with you in my Passport TN with the weekly layout, where I just keep some highlights of the week. And in last week's Journal With Me video, I focused on colors and how I choose a limited color palette. And so this week, I thought it might be interesting to start with the drawings and walk you through how I pick what I draw to capture my week. And I'm hoping that this is entertaining, insightful, or I just can keep you company while you journal. And I'm going to use my Blackwing pencil. I'm going to try my very best to be bold enough with my pencil lines so that you can actually see something, because otherwise that would be not so good, right? Okay, I think this is good, yeah? So, on Monday, my husband and I took a walk in a park. I think that was the first time, that first time that we went to that specific park to take a walk. So, of course, I could draw us as cats taking a walk through the park. But I specifically remember that we saw ducks at this park because it's one of the ones that has a body of water in it. And so that to me feels more like the specific memory or the sort of anchor of that memory. And so why not draw some ducks? And this might go poorly. I don't draw ducks very much, but we'll try our best. And let me check. I think I could even zoom you in even further, couldn't I? Maybe like so, and I'm gonna make sure that it focuses on this. Sometimes it likes to focus on my hand rather than on the paper, and that's no good. So we have like a beak, I guess. It's very strange to be drawing with a pencil but be pushing so hard, but we'll make do. And then I have these bobbly bodies, like so maybe. And, you know, I mean, ducks are not, I don't know, it used to be in childhood, I would see ducks all the time, and nowadays, not so much, and I don't know, guess I'm not very often in a place where there's ducks. But it was nice to see, and I gotta say, like, you know those typical paintings of ducks? You know, they seem a little antiquated sometimes. I feel like nowadays I get it. Like, ducks are so pretty with their shimmery coats, and I don't know, they have some nice lines in their shapes. So, yeah, I get it now, which is kind of interesting. And I'm just pretending that this line that separates Monday from Tuesday is the water, I guess. They're just right there on the water line. I did go ahead and order this layout for next year from the Travelers Company. Although I don't mind drawing it out like this. I think it's going to be nice also because that has the cream paper. So I think I'm gonna keep going with these little, this duck is definitely cuter than that one. Somehow. I think it might just be as simple as the eye placement sometimes. Or is it the shape of the head, maybe? So does the head feel too small? Yeah, I think so. Yeah, that's better somehow. And then maybe I'll leave myself some space to write walk at the park. We could add, because this is the Monday, I have some more space up top, and I usually don't mind breaking out of the lines out of the layout, because there was also some really pretty fall foliage. So I'll just add these really simple trees in the background. And we could add some reeds. I think I might wait with that because I do want to have space to write. Yeah, and then maybe with some color I can indicate that this is water, you know? So I'll keep in mind that we'll have, you know, some color to go around with this. Okay, so that would be Monday then. The ducks that stand for the walk in the park. On Tuesday, lots of work stuff happened. I sent off a file to a client, which was wonderful because it meant I wrapped up a big project, which, by the way, I'm really excited once that's finished to share with you. So I could draw myself working on a laptop, like a human-sized cat working on a laptop. But maybe we can switch that up a little bit and make it kind of cute and whimsical if I do a tiny cat with a big laptop sending off an email. And maybe that sounds... and what I found, so I was about to start drawing the laptop. I have found that if I draw an object with a character that's supposed to be interacting with the object, it sometimes is really hard to get the character the right size to interact with the object that you've already drawn. So personally, I like with this kind of stuff to start with the character, because ultimately, that cheek is a little wide. Ultimately, I can make the laptop almost any size to fit the... I have more wiggle room to change the size of the laptop, and because it's a rectangular object, it's pretty easy to redraw than it is to make your character not only the way you want it to look, but also the right size. And then my cats always have a little necktie thing. Cute little dress. And then maybe with one foot, she's... oh, that's a big foot. Whoops. She's kind of hitting the keyboard. Like so. Yeah, maybe something like that. Just really simple. And then I just, well, yeah, that could have been, anyway. Yeah, I think that I might have to have the laptop go over this a little bit so that she actually is hitting the laptop like that. And then personally, I just keep the keys really simple. Wow, that is a really messy sketch. It is. And then adding the display, and it doesn't need to be perfect rectangle going in perspective. Like so, and then I have some space for writing here. Yeah, that works. All right. On Wednesday, more working, more drawing on the iPad. That is also a very typical thing that happens and that I draw often. But I think the way to approach it for this week is that I've noticed I have been drawing on the couch more because it's cozier, and I will put a blanket over myself because it's been starting to get cold. So if I can be cozy, then I make myself a cozy setup. So maybe focusing on the fact that I was sitting there with a blanket and drawing would be the way to capture this week. And yeah, if I'm sitting up like this, I'm having my legs right here, then I'm not running into any issues with the overhang of the laptop. Yeah. Okay, so again, just I always start with the character, and for some reason, with the way I draw these cats, I tend to start with the ears Wasn't that funny? I don't know if you draw a lot, do you have certain things where you know you always have this one starting point and then you build everything around that? I think there's this one illustrator whose drawings I love so much, and he's called John Svar. He does a lot of cartoons, like comics, and he has this very loose way of drawing that is so pretty. And for example, his I've seen him draw on like Instagram reels and things, and he starts his people with the eyes. So he would start with these, and then he uses that as a measurement to build the face around, which I thought was fascinating to see. And again, maybe he just did that in this one instance, but yeah, I don't know how this would be like that. So basically, I'm sitting here, and then I have my legs come up, and I guess a little bit shorter than that. Cover it with the blanket, and we don't need to be too fussy about, like, I mean, if you wanted to get that super correct, you could draw where you think the body would be and where the legs would be, but since we're already dealing with such small space, and then sometimes I like to just draw the feet coming out of a blanket, even though that is not how I sit under blankets, but it, I don't know, sometimes it's nice how it breaks up the shape. And then, yeah, color will help to really make sure that this looks like a blanket. And then we have a cute cozy and maybe another pillow here in the back. And I think I mentioned that last week too. No need to draw the whole couch, at least for me in this instance. That's not really like, of course this could be in bed too, but the point remains that I've been noticing that I'm getting more cozy when I draw because it's been getting colder, so that's all I need personally. So there's that. And then Thursday, my iPad froze while I was working and I couldn't get it to restart. That was crazy. And then once I did finally call the Apple rep, it started working while I was talking to the Apple rep. Isn't that just how it goes? So I could just draw the iPad here. I could also have the character who's freaking out, but since we already have these two characters here and I'm starting to more and more go outside of my little boxes, maybe just keeping it simple and just drawing the iPad might work. Oh, and maybe I could also draw my phone with a speech bubble, because I told the rep that she was so good at her job that all I had to do was call her to get it working again. And she laughed, so I guess she thought she recognized my joke as a joke, which is always nice. So yeah, you know, it doesn't always need to be characters or even like animals that you see, but you can just draw the objects, and sometimes it's really cute to have multiple objects kind of sitting on the sides and framing your writing like that. At least I think so. Yeah. And then I guess I could like do like a little call out danger star. I don't know. And maybe we'll put the Apple Pencil up top. And then, yeah, I don't know yet if I want to commit to that, but maybe I'll put my phone there. Like so. Yeah. Really simple. And that is this side. Now, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. What do we have for Friday? Oh, yes. Speaking of cozy and cold, that was the first time we turned on the heat in our house. And I don't know, I kind of think that's interesting to keep track of, how that maybe changes over the years, or where you live, or, you know, I don't know. I think temperature is kind of interesting to journal about. And so obviously we just have a boring little thermostat for our heating system, which isn't very iconic and it's kind of boring to draw. I mean, I understand like these are just rectangles here, so that's, I don't know. So take that with a grain of salt. But I think it would be cuter in this instance to actually just come up with a drawing that looks cute and captures what turning on the heat is about than to draw the actual real life equivalent of that, of how that looks like in our home. So for heat, I mean, I could do something with open fire and things, but then that just makes me think of cozy, having an actual fireplace, and that's not quite it. What about just an old-fashioned radiator? Or not necessarily old-fashioned. I know that in Europe, for example, it's very common for houses to have radiators. American houses with central heating, like we have here, do not have those. But I think I'm still gonna draw a radiator, and then I'm just gonna have like a little cat sitting on top, kind of enjoying the heat. I think that's a cute way of representing that. And so again, just like with the laptop, I'm starting with the cat because it's easier to build the thing from there. And cats do find the warm spaces, don't they? I will say that I'm always surprised of how much I can fit in these little boxes, but I also think this is sort of the smallest I would personally go and draw. It's definitely a little bit of it. Yeah, I'm definitely gonna go over. What did we do Saturday? Can we work with that? Yes, yeah, okay. Okay, we can go over a little bit. And so maybe the cute little short feet go off to the side, but I will keep the radiator going flat to us because that's the more iconic way of drawing a radiator. I mean, this is already gonna potentially need context clues for. And then, I mean, sometimes the really old ones, I guess, they also have these rounded shapes up top. I made that flat a little bit there. Like so, and we're definitely gonna have the little knob where you can set the temperature. Yeah, I guess that kind of looks like a radiator. What do you think? Would you know what that is if you saw that? Okay, well, it is good enough for this, good enough for now. Saturday, I wrapped up some more work projects, which was great. And I definitely felt tired after this week. So instead of doing another kind of computery or worky thing, just to switch it up, I think I'm just gonna highlight the fact that I finished it and felt tired. So sort of more the emotional state of that. I'm just gonna draw, I think, a tired cat, kind of like flat, like, woof, I'm done. And I will say that the better I am at taking notes, during the week, the more nuanced I can be with these kinds of things. And I think that week, yeah, I was very busy, so I'm having to rely on more general things, if that makes sense. Like I have no notes about what I was eating, if I was trying any recipes or if anything tasted particularly good. And then maybe she's just raising a flag. And then I can write in done. And then just have her legs come out. Yeah. I think I could have drawn her flat, laying even flatter. That would have been funny rather than tilting her head. Let's see if we can fix that. I am having to push so hard and we might not get rid of all the lines. But there's something very very much that reads defeated if the head is just flat on the ground. Like you don't even have energy to lift it in any shape or form. Like so. And then just, yeah, have her hand come out like that and extend this way. Like so. Yeah, see, that looks a little bit more defeated. I'm okay, by the way. This is maybe taking it further than what I felt like. All right, and Sunday. Oh yes, that's right. I had a little play session with my sketchbook and my inks, and I was drawing cute little mice for a change with all those cats. How about... because some of the mice that I doodled were really like cute and small and fun to draw, I might just draw my sketchbook and then draw the mice that I was drawing in the sketchbook as if they're around my sketchbook. Yeah, somehow that makes sense to my brain. So, just putting in the sketchbook, and here I'm starting with the object rather than with the characters, because the mice, I want them, they are pretty easy to draw, so it's easy to make their shape fit the sketchbook, and the sketchbook in this instance is more important than the mice are. And we'll just put in a pencil. I mean, I was using pencil and fountain pen, but, and so then I just draw the cute mice. Sitting around the sketchbook. And then similar to this idea here, it's kind of fun if you have these kind of smaller objects to draw a bunch of them and have like a little collection. So maybe we can indicate that fountain pens were involved. That's so really strange. Anyway, and maybe another mouse right here sitting up and looking at that mouse. That's maybe a little wide for the... See, I feel like with these mice, I don't quite have a way of approaching how I draw them. Or maybe it's looking up at the cat, I guess. And then its cute little body here. Yeah, like that. And then I can write. And then usually this box that is then left over from the days, I use to write out or draw or make a note of the general sentiment in that week, or if I have anything else to highlight. And I'm not sure what I want that to be for this week just yet, so I think I'm gonna leave that blank, and I might actually do a little bit of writing because the way I've done my doodles, maybe we will need a little bit more space for writing to capture some of the things, but I think that is something to do in the next step. Alrighty, I hope this was helpful to watch and you enjoyed this. If you haven't seen it already, I'll link the video where I talk about picking out a limited color palette if you want to keep journaling with me and seeing how I put my spreads together. Let me know if you have any other questions or would like me to focus on a different aspect of illustrated journaling and this process. I'd be happy to accommodate that. And if you would like to show me that you've watched the video till the end, then leave me a mouse emoji in the comments. That's just letting me know that you've enjoyed this video, and it helps YouTube to recommend this video to other creatives who might enjoy this content. So yeah, I would appreciate that very much. And thank you so much for sharing this time with me, and until next time, happy journaling!